All right, guys, let's dive in. Let's look at this quiz review set of problems. I think if you can dial through these, you'll be good to go for the quiz. All right, so this will be a homework assignment, and so you're just going to do these practice problems and then check and correct your work when I show the solutions, and that's what you'll turn in as the homework, is just this set of problems. All right, random fact. Did you guys know Alaskan wood frogs can hold their pee for up to 8 months? That's just gross. All right, first off, write the equations for the given lines. We've been doing this multiple days now. Should be pretty easy. Pause it and go. All right, if you are done and you're unpaused, let's see if you got it. This first line crosses right there at 1, which means the b value, or the y-intercept, is at a value of y equals 1. And then our slope for this one, just pick a place where it crosses here and right there, which means I'm going to have to go down 1 and over 4. When I put those together, that gives me a slope of negative 1/4. And from those two pieces of information, I'm going to plug them in to our slope-intercept equation. So we'll get y equals, my slope is negative 1/4, and my intercept is 1. So there's the equation for A. B is our special case. It's horizontal. It's going right through negative 2, and it's crossing the y-axis, which means it's crossing y at negative 2, and that's it. That's all I need to write my special case equation. C. Line C is crossing at negative 3. I'll put my information over here so its intercept is negative 3. And now I'm just going to find some places it crosses and count. I'll count up here to kind of keep things separate. Those 2 points, I got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And I've got to go over 1, which gives me a slope. Remember, m is slope of 4 over 1. And remember, anything over 1 is just that whole number. So I'll take those 2 pieces of information, and I can write that equation. It's going to be y equals, I need my slope right there, so 4x, and then my intercept minus 3. There's the 2 things I need, and that's the equation for C. All right, line D, also a special case. It's crossing the x-axis, and it's crossing it at 3. That's all I need to know. X equals 3. There are the equations for my 4 lines. All right, moving on. Okay, now we're just doing the exact same thing in reverse order. I've given you some graphs. You're going to draw those lines, pause it, and go. All right, if we're back, then you're done. And I think I just said a second ago, I gave you graphs. I actually gave you equations. All right, let's do it. So A, x equals negative 3. That means I'm going to go to the negative 3 on the x-axis, because it tells us x equals negative 3. And the line I need to draw that will cross x is going to be that line right there. And that's it. There's A. It crosses, graph A crosses x at negative 3. All right, B. Did I catch you with this f of x notation? Hopefully not. F of x and y are interchangeable. So lines B and lines D, those are our normal, typical lines. They've got a slope and an intercept, and the f of x or y are interchangeable. So B, we're going to start with we'll graph this guy yellow. We'll start with plus 4. That's where my line is going to start at. So it's 4 on the y-axis right there for my intercept. And now negative 2 is my slope. And I'm going to rewrite that. Put it over 1 so that it's negative 2 over 1, telling me I'm going to go down 2 and then over 1. And that's all I need to graph my line. Let's see if I can draw it straight. Try to keep going down 2 over 1 as I draw. Okay, if I keep going down 2 and over 1, it keeps highlighting the next point on the graph repeatedly. And there we go. That's equation B. All right, C, I can tell it's another special case because there's no x. It's just got y equals a number. So I'm going to go to where y on the y-axis equals 2, which is right there. And I've got to cross the y-axis. So therefore, there we go. And that's equation C. That was easy. And last one, D. Okay, it's starting at an intercept of -1. I always start right there, so go down 1. There's my point. And from there, I'll count my slope. And in this case, the slope is 5/2. Positive 5 means go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so right there, I went up 5 and over 2. It's not enough room on this graph to be able to do more than 1 point, but I only need to be able to get that 1 extra point with slope, and I'm good to go. There we go. And there's your equation for D. Okay? And it ends up, you've got an x going between B and D, and C goes right through that as well. All right. Next, remember the function families we discussed? These are the 4 types of functions you might see that'll be typical to Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. Go ahead and pause it and identify the names of those families. Go. All right, let's dive in. Now, A is a big V shape. That blue one is a V shape. The V shape will always be created by an absolute value function. That's what creates that V. Okay. All right, B. B is a big curved shape. That big rounded curve, that's called a parabola. That's the shape name. But the function family that causes those or creates those are the quadratics. This will be the last thing we do in this semester here before Christmas. We will look at quadratic functions. All right. The third one, the green one there, it starts flat and then it curves straight up. What causes that, the name is that it's an exponential function. And last but not least, that straight line. Hopefully you guys know that one because that's the one we keep doing in class. And that is a linear function. Or linear equation. Function and equation are pretty interchangeable in this situation here, what we're doing. So those are the names of the 4 function families. Hopefully you're familiar with those. It's going to help you learn them later. All right, last thing. Is the given point a solution for the function? And when I say show evidence for your choice, it just means you can't write yes or no. You need to work it out. You need to plug in and show if it is or isn't. All right, go. All right, so remember, any given point is an x value, then a y value. And I threw in an f of x here just, again, to make sure you guys are understanding that that just means y. It's interchangeable with y. So I'm just going to plug in. All that we need to do here is plug in your x value for the x in the equation. Plug in the y value for the y in the equation. And then see if it makes a true equation. That's all we got. So the y value of 3 equals 4 times the x value is -2 plus 11. We just need to see if that's true. 4 times -2, -8. -8 plus 11 does equal 3. That checks out. That makes a true statement. So yes. -2, 3 is a solution to that function. Another way to say that is if we were to graph this function, whatever it would look like, it would start way up at 11 up here on the y-axis, and it has a slope of 4, so it's going to go upward. It's going to look something like that. And if we were to graph that point, -2, 3, we would go over to -2, up to 3, and that point would be on the line. That's another way to look at it. So it is part of the solution. It is a point on the line from that graph. All right, number 2, same exact idea. I think you get it, so let's just jump in. Y value is your -4. x value is 0, and now we just check to see what happens. Remember, 0 times anything, that's the, I don't know, the something property of multiplication. What an awesome math teacher you guys have. I don't even remember. I forgot the name of it, but 0 times anything makes 0. Okay, that's a property of 0 in multiplication. So really, we're just checking that. 0 minus 7, I don't know what just happened there, is negative 7. Negative 7 does not equal negative 4. Absolutely not. So no. That point is not a solution to that equation. And again, if we were to graph this guy, all that's saying is that if I went down to negative 7 and then had a slope of 1/3, so it would look something like maybe this, up 1/3, and we graph the point 0, negative 4, it would be right here. And that point is definitely not on that line, so it is not a solution to that equation. And there you go. All right, guys, good luck on the quiz tomorrow.